Hello, boys and girls. Today's story is Follow Me Down to Nicodemus Town. And this is what we call historical fiction. The book is about a very real time and a very real group of people in the history of the United States. So here we go. Follow Me Down to Nicodemus Town, based on the history of the African American pioneer settlement, written by LaFaye and illustrated by Nicole Tadgill. Albert Whitman, publisher. The woo, 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 follow me, holler of the 6 o'clock train rumbled right into Dee Dee's dreams. She rode across a prairie so wide even the angels couldn't see the end of it. Her family had a plan. They would own a place in that open land. The Pattons wanted to leave sharecropping behind and have a farm of their own. They needed to make extra money to do it. When her day work was done, Dee Dee's mama sewed dresses so fine they practically got up and danced. Her papa worked the fields by day and built furniture by moonlight. And Dee Dee made a shoe shine box to spiff up the shoes of the folks at the train station. She watched shiny shoe after shiny shoe step into those trains, knowing the pennies in her pocket would pile up for years before her family could pay off their debt. They all worked from sun climb to sun slide, but still owed more than they made to the landowner, Mr. Sills. He kept them tied to his fields and a house they didn't own. But good things come to those who pray. That fall, Dee Dee had spied a notice offering land for colored folks in Kansas. If they moved there and started a farm, they would own it in a few years' time. The paper told of Nicodemus, a soon-to-be-built town that would be just a short wagon ride away. Dee Dee ran that notice right to her papa, who said, "Why, Dee Dee, you delivered a star that we can hang our dreams on." And after that, they worked twice as long and 3 times as hard until their penny bank began to fill. One afternoon, a man with his shoe half shined heard the last call to board the train. He ran off so quick he dropped his wallet. Dee Dee scooped it up and raced after him, shouting the whole way. The man reached out the train window to claim it. Turned out, Dee Dee chased down a dream. A letter came to the station for the shoe shine girl, with a slip of heaven inside it. The man who had dropped the wallet had sent her a reward of $10. Dee Dee and her parents whooped and hollered enough to knock the nails out of the walls. With Papa's furniture money, the cotton he brought in, and Mama's dress money, they had enough to pay their debt and stake a claim. Dee Dee's shoeshine money would buy the seeds for planting. They paid Mr. Sills and bid him good riddance, then stepped right up to the station window and bought tickets with the $10 bill. These little slips of paper felt like wings. The Pattons boarded the train and rode off with their eyes set on the land that they could call their own. In Kansas, they found a wheat-worthy prairie, and joining a group of fellow settlers, they took the final trek to Nicodemus together. Working day by day, they dug themselves a home in the bank of the Solomon River. Dee Dee was the first to use the door she helped her papa hang. And here's the picture of Dee Dee, and that's their home. Papa and Dee Dee marked the boundaries of their claim with stakes. Over the next few years, they would have to prove up on the land, fence it, farm it, and register the deed. But now, with a full winter between them and the fields, they needed to plow. The Pattons didn't have much more than the stars to guide them, stories to tell, and plans to make. With a sling, Dee Dee shot supper, even until the prairie dogs grew scarce. When their bellies set to biting, Dee Dee went out with her papa to hunt further afield. She went over a rise and lost sight of the river, then came face to face with an Indian man taller than their house. He held a rabbit in each hand, saying, "Saw your chimney smoke go thin. Figured your food might be as scarce as your fuel." That's how the Pattons met Shanka Sabe of the Children of the Middle Waters. The white folks call them the Osage, but they say that they're the Neunkanshka. The Pattons called themselves blessed for all that their new neighbors brought: food, fellowship, and the most precious gift of all, hope for the spring to come. In the winter months, Mama set to sewing. Dee Dee basted. Papa worked out where to plant. When the ground thawed, Dee Dee sowed seeds with Papa, planted a garden with Mama, and waited for things to grow. When the small prairie flowers started to bloom, plenty more folks poured into Nicodemus. The town went up like a revival tent. A new hotel, a bank, and a store. When Dee Dee's family rode into town on Sundays, women slipped orders for church-going dresses into Mama's hands. So her Mama's going to make clothes for other people. On occasion, Dee Dee made a mail run into town. One afternoon, she heard Mr. Zachary say he had a full house in the hotel. Taking a deep breath, Dee Dee asked, "You think any of them folks need their shoes shined?" Quicker than a wink, he plopped his own shoe on the chair. "I sure could use a shine," he said. And that's how Dee Dee got a job shining shoes at the St. Francis Hotel. Dee Dee held posts for Papa, pinned prints for Mama, and tended the garden. And then she shined shoes on the hotel stoop until the stars came out to guide her home. In a few years' time, the Pattons had fences up and fields harvested on the land they'd sown, thanks to the helping hands of the folks of Nicodemus and the Children of the Middle Waters. They could prove their land claim. Papa let Dee Dee carry her hotel shoeshine money all the way to the homestead office to register the deed. She brought the deed back to Mama and baby Gabe. They hung it in a frame Dee Dee made from the prairie grass around their home. The place was now theirs, true and clear. That Sunday they had a party on the banks of the Solomon River. Reverend Hickman prayed over their home. The folks of Nicodemus gathered at tables brought from every dugout. Shankasabe and his family arrived with all the food they could carry. Mama brought out enough pies to feed all of Kansas. And the Pattons finally had land to call their own. But most important of all, they had a home where they could tell stories, use the stars to guide them, and make plans for things to come. And that, my dear boys and girls, is the story, Follow Me Down to Nicodemus Town. And if you check the book out in the library, there's a section about the Exodusters, which is the name they called those people who went to start this town and to get their homes by homesteading out in Kansas. So this is another very lovely book, one of our new books that we got from the Albert Whitman Company this year. Okay, boys and girls, I will see you in another book.